Hello everyone, good morning.
Good morning, Sai.
Yeah. Shall we start our class?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So before I start my class, any doubts from previous classes, guys? Any doubts from previous class?
No, Sai.
No doubts?
Mhm.
Okay, fine. So one small topic is pending in our chef class. One small topic. That is how to install multiple packages. Not only packages, for example, see what we have done so far. Installed packages. We have worked on services, processes, users, groups, water files, directories, so many things. Okay, so let's take example of package. Okay, so how we have written this code? Package shibidi do action install, and this is how we have written, right? Okay, so suppose if I want to install 1,000 packages, if I want to install 1,000 packages again, if I want to install create 1,000 users at it. So every time you repeat the same thing like this again and again, no, right? It's a hard work, right? So to address this issue, this is the only place we need to achieve automation here. If you automate this one, then we have achieved complete automation from top to bottom. I mean from starting to ending, complete automation. Okay, this is the only part where we need to achieve automation. Okay, so let's say this one, how to deal with multiple resources at a time. So I have started my shop workstation. So do ls, yeah, we have chef heaven above, go inside this one, do ls. So I'm going inside QBooks, or you know that inside QBooks we have Apache F1SP for Apache F1 QBook. So inside that we have recipes. I think we have sample recipe. Sample recipe is just I'm showing the code how to deal with multiple packages. Okay, so open that recipe, insert. For example, I want to install multiple packages. Simple, guys, very, very simple. So what do you do? Give percentage W in brackets, give the packages. For example, I want to install ShapeBD, MariaDB. The package naming MariaDB server. Any package that you do, the list you will get from Google. Here I am showing you how to install multiple packages. For example, it's also one package. Git already Git is package. VAM is one package. Like that, so many packages are there. So I want to install all these packages. Free is one package, And what else? What else we installed? Okay, so let's check till here. So what you do? You give dot each. I'll explain what actually I'm doing. Do you need to give pipe symbol, guys? Pipe symbol, that is so. I'll explain where you will get this symbol. Now See guys, this is how we deal with multiple packages. So what do you do? This is mandatory. I mean, this is how we right, loops concept, loops that you will get in each and every language. Okay, same thing. We are also doing the same thing here, loop. Okay, so in percentage W in bracket we have mentioned so many packages. Okay, so without space we give dot each and do. After that give a space and this is a pipe symbol. So just you have enter key in your laptop, right? Just on top of that enter key you have a symbol pipe. If you want to use this one, you need to use with the help of shift. Shift plus that key, then you will get the pipe. Inside that you give any name or anything. For example, I have given P. Whatever name that you give here, that you need to give here. Both must be matching. Then actually what happens? See here. You know this one package, some package name, package install it. So package P, we have given P. Now the P will be replaced with HTTPD. Do action install end. HTTPD will be installed. Next, the each we have given each, right? That means again it's 1 second, one loop is over. Again, second time the P will be replaced with this package. We call these iterations, right? This is one iteration. This is another iteration. Like this is another iteration like that. So third time the P will be replaced with unzip. Fourth time this will be replaced with VI tree like this. Finally, it will be over and these two is a and this end. And this is end. These two one set, these two one set. Okay, that is so. For example, if you want to create so many users, you give user stream here. Instead of package, you give user. That's it. Instead of action install, you mention create. That's it. Multiple packages will be installed at the same time. So let's do it here. Simply, I'm running locally. Just you should know how to install. Okay. So for testing, just I'm running locally. So you can come to know how we install multiple packages by using single resource. So come on. Let's run locally. Let's see whether we can run all at a time or not. So chef1 client. Right, the command -gr recipe. What is our cookbook name? Apache cookbook. What is our recipe name? Sample recipe. That's it. Let's run this one. Let's see what actually happens. Yeah, see here, it installed all packages starting from first. See here, total we have given 6 packages, right? 6 packages. HTTPD package, what is saying? Already package is here. Up to date, that's why it didn't install again. MariaDB, since it is not there, it has installed the package. And then it is already there in my local machine. Git see here, Git package, it is not there, that's why it has installed Git. Vim package already there, that's why it is showing up to date. Tree also is up to date. So that's why out of 6, it has installed 2 resources. Like that. Like that, you can deal with multiple things at the same time. Understood, guys? Understood this one? Everyone? Any doubts here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So quickly I'll repeat the thing, chef, what we have done so far.
So I have one question.
Yes, please.
Can we launch Amazon instance through Chef
No,
like this?
that's not possible because that's Amazon's personal resource, internal thing. So we cannot use.
Okay, thanks.
In AWS, they have their own service called OpsWork. So it's also kind of chef tool only. So by using that, we can do it. Okay, that's AWS internal property, right? So they are not keeping it open. Okay, that's why we cannot do that. Okay. Now, if you observe carefully, each of what we have done so far, we have launched workstation. So that is one-time effort. Okay. After that, we have launched Chef server. That is only one-time effort. And we have established a connection. That is also one-time effort. Okay. Because these things you won't do every now and then, only once. Okay. And you purchase a node today. Today you purchase 3 nodes. 3 nodes. That's also one-time effort. Right? After that, you bootstrap. That is also single tap, only once. And you run Chef client automate Chef client. So this is also one time effort. Okay. So what do you do? So you bootstrap this one. Fine. Now what you do? You write cookbook. So you write cookbook manually. There is no automation here. You have to write. So you won't write thousands of cookbooks on that same day. You write today one cookbook, tomorrow one more cookbook. So that also automation is there. Directly you can take from Chef Supermarket. That too, you need not to download. Directly you can call during runtime using wrapper cookbook. So it's a very, very easy. That too, you are following best practices. Okay, so you need not to write even cookbook also. And what you do? You upload that cookbook to server. That is also only one command, right? So every time instead of attaching cookbook to nodes, what you do? We have created a role. We have created a role. We have attached nodes to this role once. This is also one-time effort. You purchase 3 nodes, you bootstrap these nodes, you automated Chef client, and you have attached a role. So now onwards, whenever you want to apply this cookbook in nodes, what you do directly attach this cookbook to this role. That's it. Automatically Chef client will come and take this one automatically. And that too, if you want to deal with multiple packages, you can install multiple packages by using one single resource. I mean, deal with multiple things. That's what we have seen today. That means we have achieved complete automation. That means whatever I said in my demo, even if you want to install 1,000 packages in 1,000 nodes, that you can do within 1 to 2 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes. And that too, there is no load on Chef. There won't be any load on Chef server because we are giving the play time. I mean, we are achieving this complete automation. That too, with the best practices. We are writing the code we are following best practice. Understood, right? Okay. So that is how we achieved complete automation by using Chef. That is the reason, that is the purpose. We do not have any openings for system admins. Either you take Linux or Windows. Okay. So that is the reason we are using Chef. Okay. So some companies are using Chef. Some companies are using Ansible. So in my company, we are using both Chef and Ansible. Okay, it's very, very important, guys. So if you prioritize all DevOps tools, Chef occupies top position. Okay, I'm not saying that there is no importance of the tools. Jenkins also same important. Same, it's also important. But chef is more important compared to, okay. Like the chef is very, very important, guys. I told you, right? So in one of my interviews, they have asked for only chef. Only chef. Okay. So like that. This is a very, very important. That too, we have covered each and every topic. There is no automation left, We have achieved automation in each and every stage, each and every level. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me now, guys. Before we jump into next topic.
So I have one question. Are you going to cover Ansible also?
Yes, yes. I'm going to cover Ansible as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any more doubts?
Sai, you will share the resources, right?
Yeah, see here, the list of resources. I'll see here, go to docs.chef.io. Here, go to chef. Cookbook references. Here you can see the resources. Click here. See here, you will get number of so many resources. See, these are the resources.
See, if you want to install a MinStack application, so what resource can I take?
Which application?
MinStack application.
MinStack application.
Yeah.
So that's a package, right?
Yeah.
That's a package. You should know the name of the package. And same package, the package name do same thing. Thing is that you should know the package name. You understood it? Okay. That's a simple package you want to install. So same package resource. So here we use which resource? Package resource. See here, package resource. See here also so many things they are giving. This is package resource. Package name. Understood?
Yeah. So we install everything, right? Like
everything.
Part, middleware, backend part.
Yes, everything you can do it. Everything.
Okay.
See, one more thing is, don't think that here it is showing so many options, and so see here. So chef is not a small thing, guys. Right? Chef, it's a big company. It's one in top 100 companies in USA, and it's only one product is chef. You can imagine how big it is. Okay, there is no limit. Chef is not unlimited. Okay, so all things are not important. Okay, there is lot to learn here. Again, okay, but we have learned so many things. So I don't think so. We discussed so many things, right? I don't think so. You'll use each and everything in your company. In my company, we haven't even automated this chef client. Right? So you understand this? What I'm saying? We haven't even automated this chef client. We have better, better control. Whenever you want, we go inside that node. We run chef client manually. Okay, so that's why we have achieved complete automation here. I don't think so. You'll use these many things in your company. In company, they don't know how to create wrapper cookbooks. How to run chef client. That too, they know how to run chef client, but not by using best practices. What they do, they have cron job. They mention the cron job timing and mention the command chef run client. Okay, so chef client run automatically. But if you follow that one, all chef clients command converge at the same time. So load will be very high. Understood, right? So we have followed best practices as well. So the client will not point out. Understood, right? So that is what. That's how we did. Okay.
Sai, one more question.
Yes, please.
You told about Chef is a big company which is develop all chef related tools actually. So these tools we are getting free based actually. So they get profit actually like.
No. Free in the sense here, chef server is there. Chef server is there. You can attach only 15 nodes.
Okay.
15 nodes. Till 15 nodes is free. If you want to attach more nodes, you need to pay. Okay. Any more notes?
I asked one doubt relating to the Chef is testable, versionable. How can you say that is
See here,
testable?
Chef is testable versionable means the code whatever you write, that is testable versionable. See here, for example, do ls. We have cookbooks, right? We have cookbooks. What I do, cd cookbooks, go inside cookbooks. Now I want to store all these cookbooks in Git repository, GitHub. Understood it? I want to store all these things in a Git repository. So go to GitHub. I told you, right? Git is not only for developers. It is for us. Sorry. Can you hear me, guys? Now, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. See what I'll do. I'll create a new repository. Here, give a name. My cookbooks. My cookbooks. Okay. Now create repository. My cookbooks. Now, so we are inside cookbooks folder, right? Now what you do? You run git init. Just now we have installed git as a git init. Yes, we have initialized git repository. Now this entire cookbook folder is a git repository. So do ls-a. You got dot git. What you do now? Git add dot git commit -m and cookbooks. You can give in. So we have added and committed. Now what you do? You just add. See you see this one, right? Git remote add this one. Okay, copy that one and paste here. We have added. Now let's push all these cookbooks to GitHub. Simple. Enter. Username. No password. Give the password. Yes, we pushed all these cookbooks. Now go and hit refresh. See here, in my cookbooks repository, we have all these cookbooks. For example, Apache cookbook. See here, these are the things you have created, right? Go inside SPs. Now Apache FNSP. This is the code that you have written. So we have stored all these cookbooks in GitHub, right? For example, now you want to do some modification. Do ls Apache book. Now in Apache book you want to do some modification. So vi Apache recipes Apache FNSP. Now okay, let's change the content. Okay, now come out. Same git status. See here, something we have modified here in Apache FNSP. What do we do? Git add dot git commit -m modified Apache recipe. Yes, we have modified. Okay. So that global configurations we didn't set, right? That's what setting username and email. That you can do it. Git config fn global user.name username, right? Those things you can do it. So what do you do? We push it. I mean, we have added and committed. Now you push. Git push fn origin master. So this one. Yeah, we push. Now hit refresh. See here, Good morning is there. That's why someone they can do some modification. They can push here. That means everything is code, right? Okay. So it's a testable. Testable in the sense. See, if you see, testing means we are verifying this code. If this code is good, then the resource also will be good. Repeatable means, so I am using this one. So someone can pull this code from my GitHub. Suppose you can pull, you can use it for yourself, right? The same code we are repeating, right? Repeatable, versionable. We are applying version controls here. Everything we are storing as a commits. See here, how many commits we have inside this one. See here, 2 commits. See here, these are latest commit. In this is the modification which I have done, right? This is what I have modified. So everything it is storing as a versions. Like that. Everything we can do. Since it's a code, right? Whatever you can do with respect to code, everything you can do. Got it? That's why GitHub is not only for developers, guys. We store so many cookbooks here. See, these are my cookbooks. Understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we said that one, you know, testable, repeatable, and versionable.
I got it. Thank you.
Any more doubts, guys, from anyone? Any doubts from anyone? So please do practice. I do understand some topics are very, very important and depth concepts, confusing topics. So one is, bootstrapping is easy. Bootstrapping, wrapper cookbook. So these are advanced concepts, guys. I don't think so. Bootstrap they lost. I don't think so in interview they'll go for this one because they might not be knowing all these things. Wrapper cookbook, running Chef client automatically, and roles. These are advanced concepts. Okay, these are advanced concepts. Okay, so that's it, guys. That is all about Chef. Okay, so shall we go ahead with another topic, new topic?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, fine. So best practice is please terminate your machines once you are done with this one. So Chef workstation, yeah, Chef node 1. There is another one. So yeah, Chef node 2. Shall I terminate these things, guys? Shall I go ahead and terminate?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So actions, instant state, terminate. Workstation. Fine.
Yeah.
In companies, you won't, you won't use terminate option at all, guys. Okay, this is only for testing right here. In companies, you use create and stop. That's it. You will never use terminate option. But right? Why do we terminate the machines? That will never happen. Oh, see here. So I have enabled production, accidental production. Production from accidental deletion. So what do you do? Go to actions, instance settings, change termination production. Yes, disable. Now you can terminate. Sometimes instead of clicking stop, you might click on terminate. If you terminate, you cannot start it again. So that's why we can enable that one, so that it's kind of protection. Same if you want to enable instance settings, change termination protection. You need to click on that. Okay, so that's it, guys. Now what we'll do. So any pending slides from my end with respect to Chef? I think I think I have shared these things, right? That's only, I mean, theory part only. So these are chef server, and these are the rules. Remove this one, creates confusion. The same concept which I have explained with respect to rules. See here, we will create role and upload to server and assign them to nodes. That's our first step. If you have 1000 nodes, need to add kubebook to run list of all 1000 nodes. It's very difficult. Instead, create role and attach that role to 1000 nodes once. Next time onwards, add kubebook to that role. Automatically, all 1000 nodes will get that kubebook. That's what we discussed, right? So role is one-time effort. Instead of adding cookbooks to each and every node, run list always, just create a role, attach that role once to the nodes. When we add cookbook to that role, it will be automatically applicable. It will apply automatically to all nodes. To all nodes, those who assigned with that role. Okay, that's what. That is all about rules. And that's it. Okay. So what we'll do? So let's start a new tool called Docker. Docker.
Sorry, Ansible is not related to Chef actually. It is
No. It is related to Chef. I'll cover later because already you might have felt bored with respect to configuration management tool, right? So that's why I'm taking a break. I'm introducing one new tool, different concept. Later on, after completing all this, I will explain that one, either Ansible or Jenkins, like that. Okay, after completion of Docker, we'll go with Ansible or Jenkins or some other tool, like that. There is no sequence that first we need to cover this tool, after this tool. No, nothing like that. Understood?
yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we are going to cover that one, Ansible. So coming to Docker here. First of all, we should understand containerization. Container. Container is like a virtual machine, guys. So don't look for the definitions in Google. They'll try to confuse you like anything. For example, same. I'll show this one. Type here in Google. In the definitions you get, there'll be complex definitions. It saves a lot of confusion. A container is a standard of software that packs up code and all its it's easy. So application runs quickly, reliably from one computer and run another. The Docker container image is a lightweight standard. See here, that's okay, it's good only, but thing is that you should understand the concept in simple terms. Because in Google they'll confuse you like anything. So what is container? Container is a machine, guys. It's a virtual machine. Okay, it's just normal computer. That's it's a virtual machine. Just like we have launched EC2 machine, right? The same thing. That is what container. Now you might be having noticed then why we are using cloud. That you will understand later, because in Docker, so many advantages are there that you will understand in next slides. Okay, both are important. AWS is important, Docker is important. I'll tell you why it is so. You understood what is container? In Docker terminology, we use container. Okay, so container is like a virtual machine. In AWS, we use EC2, we call EC2. So in Docker terminology, we use container. Container is like a virtual machine. Now, what is Docker then? Docker is a tool to create these virtual machines. Docker is a tool to create these containers in a simple terms. Okay, so containerization is a technology. Okay, we achieve that one by using a Docker tool. Configuration management is a process. We achieve that one by using either Chef, Ansible. Okay, got it? The same thing. Docker is a tool to create those virtual machines, those containers. So container is just like a machine is. That's it. Okay. Now you'll understand. Wait, you'll understand automatically where we use and what is this all about. See here, Docker is a tool that performs OS level virtualization, operating system level virtualization. Just keep this one aside because I have detailed explanation of this point because this is a very important point. I'll explain later in my next slides. Okay, so it's a OS level virtualization known as containerization. It was first released in 2013, was developed by so and so. Docker is a tool used to create virtual machines called containers. By using Docker, we create virtual machines in a simple terms. So see here, the name we have taken from shipping containers. Right? These are ship. These are containers. C containers. C. Okay, these are we have taken that word from this container. Okay, that means here on top of EC2 machine or any machine, you can create any number of containers. That too lightweight. I'll explain why it is so. Once I explain the advantage of Docker, there I will elaborate each and every point. Okay, so the word we have taken from shipping containers. Docker is a tool designed to make containers in which we can deploy any type of application easily. So since it's a container means it's a normal machine. We can deploy any application, we can install any software, we can create anything, we can create users, everything we can do it. So we can just simply use this container as a normal machine. That means we can deploy anything inside that machine easily. Docker uses union file system. These two very, very important words. OS level virtualization. Guys, I'm getting some background noise. Can someone please go on? Okay, thank you. So union file system. Okay, so OS level virtualization, union file system. I'll explain these things guys. Okay, just I have detailed explanation in my next slides. That's what we also call this one layered file system. Okay, that's what these 2 points. Docker uses union file system and Docker performs OS level virtualization. I'll explain these 2. Okay. So in which stage we use Docker? Where we use this Docker? So see here, Docker comes at a deployment stage. That means don't think that by using Docker we are going to deploy something. No, Chef and Ansible we use to deploy something. But why I have mentioned this one here? So where you deploy one machine, right? Okay, by using Chef and Ansible, you can deploy something in this container, Docker. Got it? So Docker comes at deployment stage means we create container. Inside that you can deploy something. Okay, don't get confused. We won't use Docker to deploy something. No, by using Docker we create virtual machines. Inside virtual machine we can deploy something. Got it? Now, yeah, differences between VMware and Docker. These are mandatory questions, guys. They will definitely ask you. Okay, even if you go in, these are mandatory questions. Okay, you go to any interview, you attend any interview. This is must and should. Okay. Now let's see what is the difference between these 2. Why we are not using VMware's Oracle virtual boxes and Vagrant all those things. Why we are using only Docker? See here, the question also they ask like this: what is the difference between VMware and Docker? I mean, normal virtualizations and Docker. Okay, then you have to explain these things. See here. So here in this box, let's take VMware. Here, let's take Docker. Okay, so this is my my hardware, my laptop. Here also we have hardware, laptop. On top of that, we have installed OS. That's what my operating system. For example, I'm using Mac. Okay, so I'm using base Linux. So this Linux. So this is my base operating system. OS. What you do? Here in VMware, what you do? You install VMware, right? Instead of VMware, you are going to install Docker here. Once you install VMware, so I think most of you are using VMwares and Oracle VirtualBoxes. Okay, you'll understand better. See here, what we do? We create virtual machines. We create virtual machines. Inside each and every virtual machine, we install OS separately. For example, CentOS. Okay, so here Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Here Ubuntu. You install OS. On top of that, you install software, whatever you want. The softwares and applications. So here also, here we call VM virtual machines. Here we call containers. So only difference between the VMwares and Docker is here we are not going to install any OS guys. Directly we install softwares. Here we are not going to install any OS. Directly we are installing software. For example, each OS, see that OS image it takes minimum 4 GB. Minimum 4 GB. Minimum. You take VMware or Oracle VirtualBox. So on an average, it takes 4 GB total. So see here, I want to create 100 virtual machines in my laptop. 100 into 4, 400 GB is gone, right? 400 GB. Okay. Suppose your laptop's configuration is only 400 GB only. Okay, can we create more than 100 virtual machines? No, right? You cannot create more than this many. But here, see here, there is no OS. There is no OS. No, there you cannot even create 100, but here you can create thousands of containers. Thousands of containers. There is no limit. Any number of containers. Because there is no OS, right? So we are reducing the space of that OS. You are understanding, guys? There will not be any OS in Docker in each and every container. Okay. So we are reducing the space of this OS. That means here, if you go with VMware, you need to purchase these resources. You need to spend a lot. See here it takes more resources in VMware. It takes less system resources. So more system resources means you need to pay more. Less resources means you need to pay less. Here more resources means it's a weight, bulky. So less system resources means it's lightweight. So we can start fastly. Within less time we can start, we can stop. But in VMware it takes a lot of time to start and stop. Okay, these are some differences. And one more main difference is while creating VMware, I mean virtual machine here, we allocate RAM, right? For example, okay, take 4 GB RAM. It also 4 GB. We allocate RAM, right? Pre-allocation of RAM is here. But here we are not going to allocate any RAM. During runtime, it will take whatever it is required. Okay, whatever it uses, it will take RAM during runtime from base machine. For example, you have allocated 4 GB. In this, you are using only 1 GB. The remaining 3 GB is based. You are not using and you are not letting others to use in your machine. So you need to have base RAM, good RAM, right, to your base machine. But here, if you are using 1 GB, it will take only 1 GB. That's it. There is no pre-allocation of RAM here. The main differences is here. Main differences are no pre-allocation of RAM. That means we are not at all wasting RAM here. And no OS. That means very, very less space. You understood, guys? If you have any doubts, you can ask here. You know the differences. Now, don't ask me why it is so. I mean, without operating system, how does it work? That's what I'm going to explain after this. That is where the OS level virtualization and layered file system. Now you understood till here whatever I have explained. Differences.
Right.
Okay. Fine. Now let's take only Docker. See here, this is my hardware. This is my OS, base machine OS. On top of that, I have installed Docker. So I have created containers. Two containers. So in this, see guys, one thing you should understand here. You might be having doubts. See, Sai, how can we use this container without having operating system? So you said that it's an individual virtual machine. It's a box. It's a machine itself. This is a machine A, machine 1, machine 2. So I told you, right, we can use this one as individual machine. So without having OS, how can we use? See here, you have to understand one thing here. So if you take Unix, initially we have discussed Unix and its flavors. So Linux, Solaris, AIX, IBM, one, and HP Unix, like this, so many operating systems. In Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, CentOS, Ubuntu, SUSE Linux, Fedora, like. So what I said here, so core OS is same, right? These are multiple flavors or multiple versions. That means Linus Torvalds, what he did, Unix, he has taken Unix, already Unix is there. So 95% of Unix is already there. Okay, extra 5% features he has added that became Linux, right? So Red Hat Enterprise Linux, okay. So 95% is Unix only, right? Even if you take Red Hat Linux, only that extra 5% that have added their own features. If you choose any OS, differences you can find only with respect to that extra 5% only. That is the thing. That's what they have added separately. That extra feature that they have added separately. But core OS is same. 95% is same. Understood it? So that 95% is already there here in my base machine. Then why to take OS again and again separately? Why can't we take that extra 5% only here? That extra 5% here. That means it uses extra 5% here. Remaining 95% it uses from base machine. Understanding, guys? So since it is there already, Unix, the core is Unix only. You know that these are the flavors of Unix only. Okay, so why can't we take base OS? That extra features, whatever you want. For example, here you are using Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So here you want to use CentOS. Difference will be only 5%. Extra 95% will take from this in Red Hat Enterprise Linux. That means we have Unix is a 95% base OS, and CentOS means only extra 5% features only. So here we can take CentOS. Here we can take Ubuntu. Only that extra 5% only. Got it? So this is what OS level virtualization. Now again you might be having doubt. See, Sai, you said there is no OS in container. See here. In 100 rupees, 1 or 2 rupees, if you say 1 or 2 rupees, it's a negligible, right? In 100 rupees. Okay. So that's why same thing here. This small thing we are taking, right? Small OS in container. Since it's a very, very small, that's why generally we ignore this one. We think that it's almost negligible. That's why generally we say that container will not have a OS. It doesn't mean that it will not have any OS. It will have only that extra 5%. In fact, that too 3 to 4% only. Okay, small part of OS. That's why generally we say that container will not have any OS. No. Container will have OS if you go deeper. But it's a very, very small. That's why we generally ignore it. Negligible, small. Understood, right? So this is what OS level virtualization. We are virtualizing this OS. The virtual OS we are using in each and every container. You understood, guys? Okay. So what is the shape of Earth? You say it's a circle. No. How is it circular? We have so many mountains and valleys, right? How can you say it's a circular? But if you take this big figure, these are negligible, right? Mountains, valleys, all these. So same thing here. Okay. So that's why we say OS is negligible. Okay, because most of the OS it takes from base OS. Since it is dependent upon base OS, you can get any number of containers. So this OS, this small OS, it will be in MBs only. Small MBs, that to 40 MB, 50 MB. So if you take complete OS in VMware, that's a 4 GB. Understood? That means here we are taking less system resources. Understood, guys? So on top of that, you install whatever you want. Everything you can do it. You got it? You got the difference? You understood the name OS level virtualization?
Yeah, Sai, one more question.
Yes, please.
Suppose our base machine is Linux, we can work it as container also Linux actually. Suppose my base machine is Windows, I want to work on Linux, how it will possible?
Good doubt. So see here. Yeah, correct. So if your base machine is Windows, now you want to have Linux here, Ubuntu here. Okay. And how can you use this? Just tell me, someone, how can we use? Can we use like this? Because OS is completely different, right? You can be 95% OS from base machine. That's not possible, right? So that's why Docker, just a few months back itself, Docker was that time not supporting Windows. We use Docker only in Linux only. The base, the base machines OS you have to take Linux only. So in DevOps, mostly we are using Linux only, any Linux flavor. Okay. Now recently it started supporting Windows as well. It started supporting recently.
We are using Windows Docker actually.
Yeah, Windows as well. See, that's I also started. I think I have uninstalled.
Yeah, we are currently using it.
Yeah. Recently started.
Yeah.
Supporting Windows as well. So if your base machine is Windows, you have to install Docker's Windows version. Then you will get some extra features to virtualize that OS, so that you can use Linux as well. Some extra features are there that that is not important for you. Okay, we need to install some few more things. So you will get Linux kernel and all those things. Okay, don't worry about those things. We even not started using this on Windows yet. It doesn't mean that Docker will not support Windows. No, it supports Windows as well. Okay, but mostly 95% we use Linux only, any Linux flavor. Okay, that's why don't worry about that Windows part. Yeah, as you said, if it is Windows, that way we cannot use like this, right? So that's why they are giving some extra functionality, so that we can virtualize, we can use Linux as well if your base machine Windows. Got it? Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. See guys, how many of you are using Docker in your companies? How many of you are using Docker in your companies? No one?
I'm using Windows version of Docker.
Okay. Anyone else, guys? Okay, fine. Okay. So you understood this one? So that 5% extra that we take, right? We call that one Docker. All 5% extra. Okay, so that is what OSL virtualization. See guys, 95, in fact I can say 97% people get confused here. What is OSL virtualization and how it works without having OS? Okay, so you can try, you can try, you can ask your friends who are using Docker. Mostly they get confused here. But here, this is the actual concept here. Further, first you should know Unix and flavors, Linux and flavors, and why it is so. So people don't know these things. So how can they understand this one? Correct or not? So that's why you should understand this one. If at all, if they ask interviewer, because sometimes what happened, one time with me. So the interviewer asked this one, what is OSL virtualization? And later on, I realized that he also doesn't know about that one. That one, that time he didn't know about that one. Okay, that's how it happens in companies. Okay, so this is what OSL virtualization. Any doubts here, guys? Any doubts in this OSL virtualization? If you have any doubts, you can ask.
Is it Docker is free to use?
Yeah, Docker is free.
Like open source?
Yeah, it's free. It's open source. I mean, it's still a lot of theories that we are going to see now our next classes. See, a lot of theories that we need to discuss all benefits and so many things that we are going to see tomorrow one by one, and that layer file system, everything we are going to see tomorrow. Okay, so whatever we discussed, just it's a quick introduction of Docker. Okay.
Sai, is there how we will choose our how much we need in this five? You said that they use 5% from the base. So
Yes.
is this or that depends on the software?
We won't choose that. We take Docker images that we'll get in Docker Hub, Docker registry. That automatically.
So we need not to choose manually.
No, we are not going to choose manually. Just I'll give an example that it will have only 5% on their own. Okay, so don't worry, you will understand this one tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to show that Docker Hub and Docker images. Tomorrow your doubt will be clarified.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think what is tomorrow? Oh, Saturday, right? It is Saturday. Okay, so our next class will be on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Please, practice that one, chef. Anyways, in Monday's class, I will repeat this one, this Docker introduction. Okay. I will repeat this one again. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. Okay. Let's meet on Monday.
Sai,
Yeah, please.
this can be implementable on cloud also. This is only on a standalone machine.
No, we can implement in cloud, we have virtual machines as well as physical standalone bare metal as well.
Okay.
Everywhere you can do it. That we are going to see. We are going to install in cloud machines soon. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys. Okay, let's meet on Monday. Thank you so much. Happy weekend.